fix that. Oh, man.
What'd you break this time?
Oh, it's always, try to automate the show so things go nice and smooth, fade out, and restart it again. But, hey.
We need a professional tech guy.
Yeah, we should. We should know somebody who knows how this equipment works and all that. Hey, folks, welcome to What's Up, Emerald Coast. Today is
Cinco de Mayo. We need a bartender, too, to go with the tech guy.
Cinco de Mayo.
That's me. I can handle Cinco de Mayo if you handle the tech side.
Yeah, and enough said about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're looking for sponsors. So, we're going to be shopping around here. We want to make sure you're worthy.
Is that where you were yesterday, looking for
sponsors?
Were you looking for sponsors yesterday?
Actually, I took a personal day yesterday.
Okay.
So for those of you who maybe got a chance to tune in, you could see that I was on a beach.
Yeah, but not ours.
But down in Clearwater.
That is correct.
Which was interesting because I have not been down to that Gulf Coast beach on the west side of Florida. And their sand was sort of white.
It's not as pretty as ours.
Not as snow white.
No.
And it was.
We have the best.
A little bit of gritty, and then when you get close to the water, it just gets darker.
Yeah, that's why we live here. That's the prettiest sand in the country.
But it was also like first weekend open.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 sets of people out there. You had your sunbathers and beach goers and all that, and they were all like practicing social distancing, keeping the blankets apart, something like that.
Yeah.
Then every 1,000 feet or so, there was a cop car parked.
Okay.
To make sure that everybody.
The man watching you on the beach.
And then I was over Pier 60.
Okay.
Which basically was closed off.
Right.
Except for all the news media.
Okay.
That were trying to shoot angles down the beach
to get the misleading photo.
To get to see whether people were keeping socially distanced.
So taking that low-level angle that everybody complains about, that makes it look like the beach is packed.
Right. But the sheriff was on top of that.
Okay.
He was saying he didn't want to get bad press about the beaches and all
that. Good job.
He actually had a helicopter flying along Tampa Beach area, Clearwater Bay, and actually providing a live feed so you get an aerial view and you could see how people were
so let me make sure I understand. So that means the local authorities, the government, was providing the press what they want to see, the truth, so it's not fake news. Just saying. That's just me. That's my part, RJ. That's my part of the show.
They were just forward thinking.
There you go. I agree with it.
You're going to go ahead and talk about that. Let's just give you the raw feed, and then we have a copy itself, so we know exactly what happens.
We'll get to we'll get to it in a minute here, but the aerial photo and those horizontal shots of Crab Island this past weekend would not have provided the same result. But we'll get to that in a minute. I'm a big fan of Crab Island, so it was a personal day yesterday, RJ. But I have a problem with the fact that we decided to open up and get the beaches open on a national holiday. That really bothers me because I had to take yesterday off the entire day for binge watching Star Wars because it was May the 4th. And that is, in my opinion, and many of you are out there, if they're in social media, they're probably nerd enough to know that is a national holiday. So I didn't start with A New Hope. I went all the way back to the beginning and then watched them in order of it actually happening. And the actual real timeline that Star Wars will happen in some time in the future in a galaxy far, far away. There you go. Yeah. So, happy May the 4th, but today is Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. But before we get to that, let's just go ahead and shameless plug. You're watching us on Emerald Coast TV. We're this is where all of a sudden I started doing tech, and I lose my
there you go. That's my tech guy.
You were just saying that.
What are we doing on Emerald Coast TV? We're live on YouTube.
It's live on YouTube.
Live on Facebook.
And it's also live on Roku.
I got a Roku. I've seen your show on Roku.
Wow.
I've seen your channel.
On Roku.
On Roku. I've watched some past basketball games just to get some sports because all Northwest Florida is on there.
And those are and the state finals.
Well,
we have
some national champions just here in the Emerald Coast, so I go back and watch a little bit. But yes, we are on Roku, and Chris has a Roku. I'm very excited to say that.
And coming soon,
super nerd
on that Emerald Coast channel on Roku. We're hopefully going to be able to have some highlights of CrabIsland.com.
Yes.
So
we'll talk about some Crab Island issues here in a minute because we review the paper.
But do we have a weather report for Crab Island?
I don't know if he made it out to Crab Island. I think he's in quarantine mode for Tuesday.
He's there right now. Hang on, we pulling him up.
You're talking to Ryan again.
Oops. Audio
Cinco de
Ryan.
Mayo. I know what I'm doing today. I don't know about y'all. Crab Island for me will have to wait, but I guarantee it's beautiful out there. A couple of clouds, but bright blue, sunny day. Enjoy your Cinco de Mayo. Be careful. Have a plan. Don't drink and drive. Back to you guys in the studio. Chris and RJ, enjoy your Moss coffee.
Why do we have RJ, the only weather guy, without clothes on?
You notice that?
Why do we have the only guy without clothes?
It's kind of like it's like the gamble of the day.
Yeah.
Will he wear a shirt?
Yeah,
or not today?
I mean, the first couple, when he did the interview, if you remember the interview, when he did the interview for the show, I think it was the red shorts that he stepped over his tablets, and they weren't shorts like cargo shorts.
That's a vision. I thought I just.
They were red. I'm like, I'm not sure we want to hire that guy. But man,
we were testing our Zoom capability, and
yeah.
Let me put my tablet down. Let me go grab something.
That was not pretty,
Like,
but
oh my
he
God.
stuck it out, I guess, because if you, he just keeps doing it every day, so we keep putting it on there. Thank you, Ryan, for the
Thanks,
report.
Ryan,
That's
for sure. Okay, and
get that guy a
you know,
shirt.
today.
Okay, so we got in history today. Is that what you're doing?
Cinco de Mayo.
It is Cinco de Mayo.
I saw this on TV, and I just had to. It just cracked me up.
I can't read that.
Well, yeah,
Oh, there we go.
Our things. What are the odds?
Yes.
Taco Tuesday.
Let me absorb that.
I'll be heading over to the Tequila Flats later on. We'll be getting our Taco Tuesday.
Imagine a world like that. Yeah, Taco Tuesday. Of course, we can't use Taco Tuesday without LeBron James suing us. So, yeah, on Cinco de Mayo and, during the coronavirus pandemic.
And I brought for us for a little bit later on after the show.
Our sponsor?
This is going to be our sponsor for the day.
That's
the
awesome.
Unofficial sponsor.
That's awesome.
Nice and cold.
Are they?
Little baby Corona.
Oh, you brought little bottles. Yeah, I
little
can't drink little bottles. I have to drink big bottles only.
You take them 2 at a time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
There you
Thanks,
go.
RJ.
So
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
We'll chow down on those
Don't
after this show.
drink while doing the show unless it's coffee.
So let's see. Anything else of interest? Oh, we should definitely thank our sponsor. I know you can't see them right now, but Moz Coffee.
Yep.
Again, thank you very much.
It's kicking in.
Definitely our
It's kicking in.
sponsor.
I'm digging the cold press today.
The cold press, and I think I've got the
Mocha-Cola. Mocha-Cola.
If
Yeah.
you haven't tried it, it's coffee, but it's cold and cola, and it's a combination of all the good things to drink.
That RJ needs across the street, 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock,
Oh, wait.
6 days a week.
What do we got next, Chris? I don't know.
That's how it works.
That's how it
When I leave here, I go do my mile swim at the Destin Aquatic Center, and let me tell you something, I crank that mile out fast. So, anything in history today? Besides Cinco de Mayo, that was it? That's fine. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. That's enough.
I don't say I really looked into the history today. It was something. It was interesting yesterday, but I can't think of it now.
Okay.
But actually, what the big thing about yesterday
Is everything's opening.
was everything opening up.
Yeah.
I mean, with
Tech guy.
tech guy.
Struggling.
So we're
Takes
talking
one day
about,
off. Takes
you know,
one day
the,
off.
Days.
Yeah.
You know, the days have arrived and the businesses have opened.
Yeah.
Do you know Lucia?
I've only met her briefly. I know it's a nice little new operation over there, and a buddy of mine, JJ.
Jade.
Yeah,
Where's that
Jade.
located? I like the
Right over in the middle of Fort Walton Beach, right across from City Hall, and I believe
like right across where the crab trap is. Now?
right across from City Hall, directly. Well, I guess Crab Trap is directly across, so two lots
on the
down.
Other side of the
Just to
the
to
lot.
the east of the Crab Shack.
Okay.
Just to the east of Emerald's Place, and it was relatively new. I think they were getting open last fall, and I believe JJ was in there running it.
So Chris, you're kind of used to opening
Yeah,
restaurants.
I've opened a couple.
And she basically had just kind of started before this thing hit.
That's right.
She also talks about how her mom has been so.
That's pretty
helpful.
touching. That's pretty
That
cool.
was very touching.
To have that's amazing. I'm touched by that because my mom can't be here to help me open a restaurant, but she can certainly scold us from afar.
Both our moms kind of got on our case after.
Yeah, that's right. We deserved it. So thanks, moms.
If you're looking for last Friday's show, I've expired
Thanks,
it.
mom. Thanks, moms. We got scolded. All right, so back to work. First of all, I think I commend anybody in the restaurant business for taking it on. It's not the easiest industry in the world, and it wasn't pre-pandemic. It's a challenge. You're dealing with a lot of factors, a lot of moving factors. Owning any business is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But in the restaurant business, when you're dealing with food, you're dealing with alcohol. Happy Cinco de Mayo again. You're dealing with people And it's not just the people that are walking in the door, it's the people that run the business and work at the business. It's a challenge. And yeah, I've done it a few times. I'm by no means an expert on it, but I've enjoyed it all my life. And I tell people in the beginning, if you don't like cash and you don't like people, you're not going to be in the restaurant business. And so I commend her, and then she goes and opens it in the fall.
Yeah, she opens it in the fall, like September, like after the tourist season.
Well, there's a logic to that, RJ, so you understand. If you're in a small operation like she's doing and working it herself as an owner-operator, which is a great format to get into to do in this industry, doing that in the winter is not a bad thing, I've always believed, because you have some novelty and attracting people there is the new thing while it's off-season. Work out the kinks. I can throw some industry slang at you, which is probably an industry, applies to other industries. But you're working out some kinks, working out some details, finding the staff that you need, working on your menu. And, not everybody can open up with a template from a Panera Bread. I mean, you can if you want to spend the money and buy a franchise of a template.
Kind of soft, and you start working things out.
So here she goes and does that in the fall, and here comes the season. You're excited. I've done this a couple times. I've opened a couple places. I've worked at several dozen in my career across the country. And so I've worked and opened just about every month. I've helped open or opened my own. So I commend her on the timing of it. And but here comes the spring, and you're about to get everybody in their boats. I can see the logic. Everybody drops their boats in the water. She gets a little extra business.
Outdoors.
It's right there right there on the Fort Walton Beach Sound.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden somebody throws in this pandemic and puts everything to a screeching halt. And she's, I drive by it every day on the way here, and as I was moving over to Fort Walton Beach, and I could see the cars, even at night, and I could see that she was in there doing what she needed to do, which was some to-go food, people coming by at Fort Walton, and of course she's right there in the middle of town. Mm-hmm. So as people are walking or riding their bikes or whatever, they're going to want to stop and see what's going on. And I'm sure as an operator, it's like post-hurricane time where everything's closed, but you're dying to be open. You don't have the power. Your beer's cold, but your power's not on. The beer's sitting on the ice that you had in your ice machine forever, and you can't be open. Except this is an extended version of that. So as an operator, you're pulling your hair out and you're wanting to get going.
And she was concerned about her mom, especially when this all happened, because her mom is in that kind of susceptible age range and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But her mom's back to help her out,
right?
And apparently, she is the one who makes sure that all the everything is super clean.
And so you're back to, she opens up. She's a perfect anecdotal story in our community of pandemic life. She opened pre-pandemic. Mm-hmm. She's surviving pandemic, and here it is still. We arguably, New York City and Washington gets all the publicity. We've had 160 cases here in this county, 4 deaths. And the argument is, opening it up, we start to get the second wave will be here.
Right.
So in the light of that, I commend her for and everybody else getting their business open. I'm getting ready to open a pizza place.
And that's one thing I observed, because I drove all the way down to South Florida, Tampa area, and then back again. That all the places we stopped at, people were just basically, almost more than 50% were wearing masks.
Yeah.
Target, I've got to commend Target. First time I've ever seen that somebody was actually there at the checkout, the self-cash checkout, and wiping down the keypad.
Yeah.
I've never seen that so far. I mean, they're like, and that's basically been the same with all the Target stores from this point.
So that becomes to me the big topic.
Yeah.
A friend of mine reached out asking if I wanted to sell masks and sanitizer and stuff down here to make it available. I mean, eventually there's going to be enough supply for the demand. And I said, I just want to help any of the restaurant owners that I know get open so they can feel comfortable.
I'm so surprised it's not like one of those impulse buys, I think, by the counter. But it basically comes down to supplies.
But if we come back to it, it's the idea of wearing a mask is not about your safety. It is. I'm sorry, I take that back. Me wearing a mask is about your safety.
Right.
And this idea that I posted this the other day that, we live in we're all in this together, but we're also conflicts with the idea of I want what I want when I want it. And those are the two, to me, that kind of sum up our society a lot of times, especially today. So the idea of wearing masks protects you. And we try to stay even apart right here in the studio so that we can talk and not be muffled as we do as the show. But as you're going into a restaurant, you go belly up to a bar. You're a bartender. You don't know if those people have the virus, had the virus. You don't know if those people are just angry from they didn't get their mail today. And likewise, if you go belly up to the bar, you don't know if that employee is sick, just needs to be there to make money. This is going to be quite a challenge.
That's the reason why, one of the reasons why the bars have not been opened up yet.
That's right.
They have to kind of figure out, and also the policing aspect of it, because if somebody does also realize, hey, I just got tested, I found out I'm positive. How do you go back to let everybody else know, hey, if you happen to visit, and then for that bar, it's not necessarily necessarily good publicity either.
That's correct. And that leads to, we talked right before the show, and that leads to the idea that, going forward, I think part of this, it sucked closing the beaches and closing all this down, but I think that was a way of shocking society to say, this is real. We need to pay attention. Yes, we can talk about the top headline, vacation rental ban violations an issue. At the end of the day, yes, the hoteliers and the condo people and the renters need to get visitors back, but we need to be prepared to deal with it. And that's what I'm leading to.
Yeah.
So as we change the society's behavior in our community, I love this dialogue. We go from this we the people down to me right here in a restaurant.
And your favorite place.
Yeah, and CrabIsland.com. CrabIsland.com. But as we start to make these adjustments, we had to shut things down to get everybody aware. Okay, now we open it back up. We go to the beach. Yes, it's open air. Yeah, the aerial shot, you talked about, all those things. And yes, small groups of people. But that doesn't mean they can't infect each other. But okay, we allow for that because we accept it. But when you go to a public space or a licensed entity licensed by the state, they're going to have to follow rules. And when you pointed that out about Target, I pray that many companies, large and small, make the conscious choice as a company, because corporations are people too. Thank you, Mitt Romney. That they Mitt Romney said that. Okay. Right before he said, "Who let the dogs out?" I'll give you that source later, RJ. But I'm praying that restaurants, businesses, large and small, practice social behavior appropriate with the pandemic.
I'm seeing it. I am seeing it.
And I've seen the opposite. So hopefully it improves over time. Now, if I talked to my friend in Boston who would say, Chris, do you need me to ship you masks and all down there? You cannot go into a business in Boston without wearing a mask, because that business owner says to that customer, love you, want your business, but my employees are valuable too. And we don't have that mindset yet. Will we get there? I think we have to. You go out to the beach, take your mask off. But then that leads back to what you just pointed out to Crab Island.
Yeah, Crab Island is going to be just one of the... it seemed like the rules were slightly different because they were saying, okay, well, boats need to be 50 feet away from each other.
The rules just weren't enforced.
Right.
And I'm not advocating we go out there and throw tickets on people.
There's social distancing 6 feet apart, but then when it comes to boating, you're actually not supposed to be, not including mooring, but those are also in place for those facilities and marinas and stuff like that, where there's already permanent fixed mooring type of capabilities. Crab Island doesn't really.
That's a sandbar,
right? So it's going to be interesting.
I saw pictures. They're available on CrabIsland.com. There's pictures that show boats that were rafted up together, and that's great. We get 10 people. If some people don't want to take it seriously and they raft their boat up, and we've only got 8 people on our boat, and then they tie up to 4 other boats, which I saw out there, then we're going to become the photo that people in Wisconsin or people that visit here or people in Atlanta look and say, well, they're not taking it seriously. And so even though we're like, yeah, screw it. Glad I caught myself right there. Because it is PG-13, RJ told me. That they're going to look at it and go, well, people down there, because they got a boat and they must be safe out there in the water. That's not the case. It's about... You still don't know. The people that are on your boat are the same people we're concerned about walking in a restaurant. And I want to be out there on Crab Island as bad as anybody.
Yeah. It's just the difference between outdoors and indoors.
That is, yes.
That's really
it helps.
Part of it.
And you're in the sun. So I will give you this. Crab Island to me is the epicenter of the world. It is the epicenter definitely of the Panhandle. Everything goes in and out of the bay right there. To me, it's probably one of the most incredible assets, the most incredible things.
You like Crab Island.
I like CrabIsland.com a whole lot more. Shameless plug. But you know, it's that important. It's that I've had a lot of fun out there. I've done a lot of crazy stuff with my friends out there. But all I can say is I hope my friends and the people that live here are cognizant of their behavior, because the world is watching. Yeah. And, you know, we live in the prettiest place in the country.
We live in an awesome place.
And so as people see those photos, you know, if you remember pre-pandemic or shutdown, everybody was showing pictures of Tampa, and it was the spring breakers that were the problem. Well, I pray we don't make it that the Crab Island goers become the problem. So let's be aware of that. Let's be conscious of that, because we don't want that bad publicity as we then start to open our hotels and open our condos and get back to true norm. And let's not forget, it's May the 5th. Okay? This is technically a really slow period, slower than what happens in about 4 weeks.
Right.
Okay? I know everybody just opened and like, we need to get busy again. But listen, I've had a few businesses after spring break happens and the families and all the groups come down from Kentucky for the baseball tournaments and stuff in Destin and all that. We then have a lull. So let's just remember that as we get going again. Let's enjoy what we're doing.
Right.
But be conscious so as we can be ready for Memorial Day.
This is just
It's warm up. It's warm ups.
Yeah, because there's beaches, there's park in the Crab Island, and there are 3 separate ways of handling those.
Absolutely.
So not everybody has a Crab Island.
And I'll give a shout out again to, you know, there's a lot of anger to specifically to all the way down to the quote of a county commissioner or a city councilman. You know, I commend you all. This is, you know, like our buddy said, you're managing a dumpster fire, and there is no manual for that. And it's a lot of opinions and a lot of different philosophies, and but I think everybody's heart is always in the same place, is we want to succeed here.
And this is true. You know what time it is?
It's time to go.
No, it is time to go.
It is not. I know you want a beer. Yeah, it's time.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, folks.
Stay rational,
Enjoy the good type of Corona.
Stay rational, my friends, and thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Because Mom's probably the only one that watched all the way to the end.
That's true. All right. Take care, guys.